Alrighty, so I hate making this video because when the boss originally came around, I pretty much made a similar video saying that I really didn't like this boss. Well, he's back. This is the first time that he's been back since his initial release, and he's still really, really bad. And I don't just say that because of the way that, he just in general has been in, the previous fight, because now we have Super Awakening. There's a little bit, there's other characters that have come to the game, which, I mean, it's not like really the team has all that much changed, but, I originally used a pin team, and whenever this is the first day that the guild boss has actually been out with this rotation, I used Pierce team again, and I went through the whole thing, and I was doing okay. I got a little less than 4,000 points, and it turns out that this go around, I think this week is the first week that they're doing it, they added 2 new tiers. So at 5,000 points and 6,000 points, you can get more rewards, which I was really only worried about the anvils, to be honest. One Super Awakening coin isn't gonna, make a huge world of difference. Obviously, it would be nice to have it, but I'm not worried about one singular Super Awakening coin. But 6,000 points on this boss specifically is so hard to get. And I mean, I have a pretty decent setup. Like, a lot of my gear is fine, like this and that. And I've looked up, like, tons of different guides and stuff on this boss, and it just seems like everybody, it just relies on one thing and one thing only: how high, your ultimate level is with Lost Vein Meliodas. And that is ridiculous. White balance on the camera is really weird right now. So I think that sucks, because I originally used the pin team. It wasn't working out a whole lot. I know the team that everybody wants people to use is this team right here, which uses 2 festival units. It uses green, or not green, it uses blue Lilia, who doesn't really come around in banners all that often, so some characters, some people might not have her. And it has green Gother, who is kind of, he's a really essential unit on a lot of stuff now, and I feel like a lot of players still don't have him either. And it's such a bad, fight. It requires so much more thought and time than a lot of the other knighthood bosses do, I guess. And I mean, I just think that sucks, because I mean, yeah, you only have to do this once a week, and I mean, you only have to get X amount of points to get the rewards that you need from it. But the fact that I'm not trying to say I'm the best player in the world here, but I'm trying to say I have a pretty decent setup, and I'm still having so much difficulty with this that I know that newer players, and maybe players who don't dedicate nearly as much time to the game as I do, they really just don't stand a chance. And I think that sucks the most, because guild boss is a really nice way to get a bunch of decent rewards. Like, I mean, you get pendants, you get anvils, you get this, you get that. And I mean, ultimately, I've hit over the 4,000 mark at this point, so I've gotten all of the rewards that I would normally get throughout the week from Guild Boss, plus I've gotten an extra one. But I know a lot of players aren't going to be able to reach this point, because, Lost Vein is, I want to say that he's kind of an essential unit that a lot of players have probably already prioritized getting. But honestly, with the way these festivals are set up and the pace that Global has been on and everything like that in the past, I don't see a lot of players, unless they just got super lucky when summoning for Lost Vein, I don't see them having, a crazy leveled up Lost Vein, with, tons of his, ult level maxed out and stuff like that to really benefit from this. The videos that I have watched, they were basically saying that, hey, pretty much the best score you can get on Extreme with this team is like 4,000 points, and that's if your Lost Vein is 6/6, because you need him to have a high ultimate level, so that way you can burst him down as quickly as possible in the second phase. And I know that a lot of the times, the guild boss stuff is very RNG heavy, because you want to get high scores, so that way your guild can be, have a better score, etc., get you, higher rank in the guild boss stuff, and etc. But I don't even care about that. I just want the rewards, and the fact that it's so hard to get these rewards, and I feel like these rewards are supposed to be sort of like a baseline, sort of like, hey, here's what you should be trying to go for if you're like a casual player, I guess. And then, you know, obviously the people who are like try-harding it and trying to get like the max scores that they possibly can for their guild to benefit from it are, you know, they're expected to shoot way higher than this almost. And this boss just does not, it doesn't really equate with that whole sort of philosophy, I feel like. I mean, unless there's just some sort of, you know, thing that I'm missing here, I just can't see this being, you know, easy in any regard. So I don't know. I hate this fight so much. Hopefully you guys are having better luck than I am with it. Just the fact that this is also the first week that we've had this boss back, and we have to deal with the whole, you know, stamina cost of the whole thing, having to run this thing over and over again, because sometimes maybe you end up killing both of the arms of the boss and he becomes invulnerable for 2 turns, and not only does, you know, those 2 turns wasted kind of, you know, count off on your score, but, you know, he does a lot more damage when his arms are gone, so he could potentially kill you and wipe your team on it. It's just, it's so bad. It's such a hassle compared to the other 2 knighthood bosses, which can be hard for sure, but they're not ridiculously hard like this one is for some reason. And I don't know. It sucks. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of just ranting about it. Obviously, if you have a Pierce team that could do well, I definitely recommend using it. It's all right. If you have Lost Vein and Liz, and you have, I mean, I don't guess you really have to have Green Gother. He's just a little bit better than Red Gother. But using Red Gother is kind of good. If you just have this sort of team in general, you can get some pretty decent scores. I really don't see there being a really great free-to-play alternative for this. This boss fight is just really hard in general. I will leave a link in the description. There is a guy that I watch every once in a while. I can't pronounce his name very well, but I think it's Cheekswa. But I think he does Twitch streams, and he's very guild boss heavy on his like 7 Deadly Sins content, and he really focuses on like doing guild boss. So I'm gonna leave a link to the, you know, to his channel in the description. He does a really good job of like going over just how he gets really high scores, and he, you know, he's just a lot better at this sort of thing than I am. So you may want to go check him out if you want like a better detailed, you know, team on what to use for this kind of stuff. He actually, I think he does have a sort of free-to-play friendly team. Obviously, it's not going to get some insane scores, but you can beat this with it. So I mean, there, you know, you may want to look into it. So other than that, that's pretty much all I have for you. Hopefully, I will see you guys tonight whenever the news drops. I'll be making a video on it. It normally takes me about an hour to end up editing, rendering, and uploading it. I think the upload process is probably what takes the most time, just because my internet's not the greatest. But yeah, I will see you guys tonight for the news. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you guys then. See you then.